I've worked or consulted in over a dozen info product coaching and consulting businesses over the past year as a copywriter, helping them with their automations, helping them with their sales process. And like anything in life, there is an 80-20 rule, right? So 20% of my clients were getting 80% of the results. And when I realized this, I needed to figure out as a service provider, as someone serving their clients, how I could get them the best possible results. And the conclusion that I came to was that so many times me and my clients were caught up in the tactics of things, and we were trying to get marginal gains, or we were trying to optimize things rather than looking at the bigger picture and thinking, right, how can I help my clients get 10 or 12x their results as quickly as possible? And in this video, I'm going to show you how we are actually beginning to do that. And not just how we are doing it with our clients, but how the top 1% of the market are doing it as well. So, how on earth are you going to 12x a business in less than 3 months? Well, this is the exact method that people like Iman and Serge Katari used to go from doing 300k months to $1 million days and 30k months to 300k cash collected months within 90 days. And it's also the same playbook that I'm currently implementing for my clients and making them as much money as they usually make in a month and making it in a single week. Most people who are running these businesses spend the majority of their time looking to optimize things in their info coaching or consulting business. But these tactics and these optimizations will get you maybe a 2x return or a 3x return. But what if we could use the theory of collapsing time frames to get a 10x or a 12x jump in the business? If you don't know who I am, my name is Charlie McCormack. I'm the founder and director of Webinar Wizards, and I also run a podcast on the channel Progressors Network. I currently do done-for-you webinar and live event campaigns actively for clients, and I have multi six figures in direct attributable client results. If you want to see these, you can go and check out the link in the description, and you can go and see what all these people have to say about us. And if you want to watch the podcast, you can go to Progressors Network on YouTube. Now, I'm actually just going to back my espresso before I begin. Great stuff. So here is the reason that you probably started an info-based or a coaching business. And this is the thing that when I was working with my previous clients, even I at the time failed to consider. And this is usually something how it goes. So the clients I work with, or most people doing info or coaching, started off in a service-based business or a business that had low barrier to entry, or they were working in a company acquiring a skill set, so like sales or marketing. And with these business models, there's a reason they're low barrier to entry, right? They're low barrier to entry, but they also have a smaller ceiling. But these people were starting to see success from what they were doing, and they started to make their first bit of money, whether that be in sales or an agency or just any sort of business model like that. But the reason people start selling info is because they slowly realize that the opportunity vehicle that you are in, whether that be something that's done for you, or it's one-to-one, or it's limited by time or stock or ad spend, isn't going to take you to the next level of income without having some sort of major operation going on. You have to hire more people, hire more sales reps, hire more people in fulfillment. You then have to manage all of them. So people slowly realize that they need a different opportunity vehicle, which is why they go and acquire more leverage in their fulfillment process. So they switch opportunity vehicle to a model like info or coaching or some sort of productized service, software, a business in a box, or consulting. Because it's more leveraged, you reduce the marginal cost of replication for each client, especially with things that are digital products. So if I was to create a course, I don't have a course, but if I was to create a course, I could sell that course to 10 people in 10 minutes, and I wouldn't have to fulfill for them because they have bought the course. They have bought something that was built once and can be sold again and again and again and again. And they therefore reduce the cost that it takes them to replicate it for each client. Whereas if you're running a done for you service like me, I could not onboard 10 people in 10 minutes because of the complexity of what we do and the operation behind it. And when people do acquire this leverage, they break past their previous income level rapidly. You will have found this if you are running one of these business models. This is typically how it goes. And one thing that my clients didn't realize, but my clients who were making the most money were doing, was that they had leverage in fulfillment and they had pivoted to this other opportunity vehicle successfully. But they realized that in order to scale it, they couldn't continue using the same sales and marketing processes that they were doing before, and that they needed to do the same thing that they were doing, but differently. They needed to do it better. And by doing things differently or doing things better, I do not mean any of these things here, because there are so many different things that me and my clients and most people who are running one of these businesses look for when they're looking for growth. This could be, there are so many different paths that you can take to optimize and grow one of these businesses and get 2x solutions. You can get a new copywriter. You can get more or better sales team. You can get more ad spend. You can make more offers. You can get a better media buyer. You can get a content distribution agencies to start posting TikToks for you. You can start using written content like LinkedIn or Twitter. You can start running ads on YouTube, Meta, Google. You can optimize your thumbnails and your titles, and all of these things are necessary and they're great, but they're 2x solutions. And what we're trying to do, and what I'm trying to do as a service provider, is help my clients get the best and the biggest result possible. So if you actually did want to 10x your info, your coach, your consulting business, if you actually did want to do that, then there are questions that you would need to ask yourself. So depending on what kind of range of info you are operating in, could you handle 10x fulfillment by the next month? So if you were to actually bring on 10 times more people than you currently have by next month, could you do it? Now, if you're selling a course, this is a yes. But if you're selling coaching and things like that, you need to start thinking about systems, automations, and hires that need to be made. So you would have to fix the fulfillment first. And then, could we 10x the marketing budget by next month and afford to do it? But nobody wants to do that. You don't want to have to spend 10 times more on marketing. You want to get more bang for your buck, or potentially just spend a little bit more. And if you were to do that, do you then have the systems, the team, the infrastructure to generate 10 times more appointments and also close 10 times more deals? Probably not. I would imagine that is almost 100% a no, which means that if we don't want to spend 10 times more on marketing and we can't generate 10 times more appointments and close 10 times more deals, then we need to get more bang for our buck. And in the business term, we need to introduce more leverage, because if you have a leveraged fulfillment or an opportunity model like info, like coaching, like consulting, and you match that with a leveraged sales and marketing process, then that is where you are finding these exponential growth rates and results. The number one thing that needs to change is the sales process. The marketing, it doesn't have to change that much. You can just spend a little bit more and send it to a better sales process. But the way that people like Iman and Serge are selling in order to onboard more people in a shorter amount of time, so more people in a shorter time frame, is going from doing book a call funnels to doing webinars. And this isn't an automated webinar. This isn't a pre-recorded webinar. They are doing live events and webinars. And webinars alone are the thing that took Serge from 100K a month to 500K a month in 90 days. And now they collect $1 million in cash every single 90 days. What would have previously taken him 10 months to do, he's now doing in 3 months. And that was revenue as well. If you're wondering where I got this from, he speaks openly about this on his Instagram and on his email list. If you can see here, he is now, for the people who work with him, giving them 4 weeks of intense working with them to get them better attention sales calls and get their fulfillment to be more leveraged. And they're now doing webinars for clients. Their webinar playbook that brings them 250K a week on the weeks that they do webinars for partners who have an audience. This isn't just something that these people are doing themselves, because Iman is the same. This is Iman's business newsletter that he sends out. I believe you can sign up through LinkedIn to educate.io. He's helping people with their personal brand and all these other things. And he is telling his business owners who are subscribed to his email list that these events cannot fail because every element of them guarantees a conversion. He's qualified to say this because on his last event, he's literally just done one like 2 weeks ago, but the one before that, he did $1 million on the first day with a 1K offer. So if you wanted to do that, you would have to book something ridiculous. You'd have to be booking thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of sales calls every single hour with a 100% close rate to make the kind of money that he is making in a single day, because he is selling in such a leveraged way. And they're not necessarily working harder by doing these things. They're not even necessarily working smarter. Because if you were going to say, oh, let's work hard, let's get more closers, let's get them putting in more hours, let's get more setters, let's get them DMing everyone, you still are probably not going to make $1 million in a day. The only way that they are doing this is through a one-to-many presentation. And that's just for the simple fact that it is so leveraged. If you are trying to spend 12 months, a whole year, trying to book 1,000 sales calls, why would you do that when you can get 1,000 people on a single call within 2 weeks to 30 days and make an offer to them straight away? So you give yourself a whole year worth of sales efficiency, a whole year worth of work, and you can condense it and collapse it into 14 to 30 days, and you can just make those people an offer after a month. You're still getting the same amount of leads, and it's condensed into a smaller time frame. So just because you're getting these leads and maybe you're not getting them all on calls, they still are there to be followed up and sold to. And not to mention the fact that these leads are now educated because they have attended and sat through a long form sales presentation where I hope you have told them about yourself, you've told them about your story, you've given them some training, you've told them about your company, and you have made a great offer to them. So not only are they educated, but they're also engaged. They have cancelled whatever they had planned to do, whatever they usually have on at that time, to attend your call, sit through it just for the sake of them being interested in consuming what you have to say. And Serge actually talked about this in one of his emails. Said, if you had to convert someone into a religion, would you want to create a TikTok for them, or would you want to write a book like the Bible? And you would obviously write a book. But there are so many people who are optimizing for content distribution and things like that, and they end up with a market and an audience that don't even have this attention span to pay their credit card off. Never mind to pay whatever for whatever service or product you're offering. We want to attract serious buyers who want to learn what we have to offer, and we want to then give them an offer within 30 days rather than waiting a whole year to try and get them on a sales call. And the clients that we've started doing webinars for are now going all in on this, both from an organic and a paid standpoint. They want to shift their entire sales process away from, we have a client doing newsletter. He wants to go all in on webinars after we made him 40 grand from a campaign. And we have another client who has a book call funnel who wants to start doing webinars every 30 days, every 45 days, because he's realized that we made him 138 grand from a single campaign. For this simple reason here, that these people were willing to come and consume our education. They weren't skipping it like a sales letter. And we were able to get so many sales and just condense it all down into such a small time frame. And that's what we're trying to do here. There are so many different paths to 2x, but how many paths are there where you can get a year's worth of sales calls on a single call? There's not many. So that's my piece. And that's why me as a service provider, all that I am helping my clients with at the moment is helping them transition to one-to-many. And if you want to see a bit more about what we do and the case study breakdowns that we have, then you can go and watch the YouTube video, which will be at the top of the description, which is how we made £138,000 from one webinar with no ad spend, with 126 people on the call. And after you've watched that, if you want to start making as much money as you make in a year, and you want to start making it in a month, a week, and eventually in a single day, then we are currently implementing this playbook and our mechanisms into info coaching and consulting businesses, and we are getting them unbelievable results, as you'll see if you go and see the case study. So if you want us to audit your current situation, your sales process, your marketing, your messaging, and you want us to give you a walkthrough on how we would implement this into your company, and also the insights that we have from current clients that you can take and consider, then there'll be a link in the description. It'll be webinar-wizards.com, where we have a full explainer video about what we do and how we implement it. And if it sounds interesting, then you can go ahead and book yourself a call. But I wanted to make this video because I've been a service provider writing copy and emails for my clients for so long, and I felt like I had so much guilt that I wasn't getting them these crazy results. I was getting them great results, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to see them flourish. I wanted to see them fly. And I have now gone all in on this for myself and my business, because I believe that this is such an effective mechanism. So that's my piece. Love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.